Chasing views is keeping you poor, and I'm gonna change that by the end of this video. Now, I know that if you're watching this, it's highly likely that you're making what most would consider decent money, but this video isn't just about money. As business owners, we know the most important currency is our energy. By putting views or other vanity metrics on a pedestal, you're not only limiting the amount of cash you collect, but the amount of energy you have to do the things that matter most. Now, I'm not gonna come on here and lie. You do need views to grow your business, but looking at creators like Alex Hormozi, Grant Cardone, and Cody Sanchez is doing you more harm than it is good. If you're selling a $2,000 plus offer to a very specific audience with a very specific problem, what do you think is going to happen when you decide to create content for a broad audience? You're not Mr. Beast selling chocolate bars to everybody. You need qualified buyers, not random eyeballs. And chasing views trains the algorithm to show your content to people who will never buy from you. After systematizing content for over 400 plus businesses, I've seen this pattern repeatedly. Entrepreneurs with millions of views struggling to book sales calls, while others with just a few thousand views consistently close 5-figure deals. The difference is understanding what metrics actually matter and building to optimize for those. By the end of this video, you'll understand the 4 reasons why chasing views is killing your business, the real metrics that actually predict revenue, and why brand association matters more than your follower count. You'll learn how the interest-based algorithm actually works and the mindset shift that separates content creators from business builders. Remember, make sure to take notes and leave them in the comments below. So let's start with the first of the 4 core problems that happen when you chase views as a high-ticket seller. And I want you to pay close attention here because chances are you're doing at least 1 or 2 of these right now without even realizing it. Problem number 1, you dilute your brand association. Alex Hormozi defines brand like this. He says it's 2 things associated with one another, and for it to work, your audience has to be familiar with at least one of those things already. So for example, for Alex, when he first started, nobody really knew Alex Hormozi, and really, unless you were maybe one of their clients, nobody really knew who Gym Launch was. But everybody knew business. So he was associating his name with business. Same with Russell Brunson. Right? Nobody knew Russell Brunson, nobody knew ClickFunnels, let alone really what a sales funnel was, but he associated it with the opportunity of making money online, which his audience already knew. Then he took them into the education stage of learning how funnels were the best way to do that for them. So again, the key here is that one of those 2 things has to already be deeply familiar and exist in your audience's mind. They already know what business is. They already know what making money online is. For me, you already know what content creation is, but I'm introducing you to how you can leverage AI properly to dominate your market. It's just associating your name with that thing they already understand. And notice I said 2 things, you and the one thing you want to be associated with. If you look at the pattern, Alex Hormozi, business. Russell Brunson, funnels. Gary Vee, social media. Each one of them picked one thing and hammered it home until that association was crystal clear in people's minds. So when you're chasing views, you start following trends just to get views. And you're no longer caring who those views are coming from or what you have to do to get them. And so you see a trending audio on Instagram about relationships, and even though you teach business strategy, you use it because it's getting millions of views. Or you see a new trend going viral and you think, maybe if I do this, I'll get discovered. But it has nothing to do with the thing that you want to be associated with. And that line starts to get blurrier and blurrier and further away from the center until you have an audience that is nowhere near the people that are going to buy from you. And worse yet, the people you do want in your audience are completely confused as to who you are because you've allowed yourself to blur those lines and go outside and cover these topics that have nothing to do with who you want your brand to be associated with. Think about it from your audience's perspective. They see your first video about business strategy and think, oh, this person teaches business. Then they see your next video is some sort of a dance trend. Then the next one is about your morning routine, the one about your favorite books, and now they're just confused. Are you a business coach, a lifestyle influencer, a book reviewer? They don't know what to expect when they follow you, so they just don't follow you. And I know what you're thinking. Well, if I just continue to make content about the same topic over and over again, aren't people going to get bored of the repetition? And I can tell you, yes, in the beginning, it's going to feel boring to you. And it's always going to feel way more boring to you than it ever does to your audience because you're saying the same thing over and over again, or at least you feel like you are. But that repetition is exactly what builds the association in people's minds. Think about how many times you've heard Alex Hormozi tell the same stories, or use the same phrases, or talk about the same lessons, or Russell Brunson talk about funnels. The repetition isn't an accident, it's the strategy. Now that doesn't mean the packaging of how you talk about this topic can't follow a trend. You can always use different formats of content, including using a dance trend if that fits your personality, as long as the topic is on brand. The narrow focus can feel limiting at first, but the laser focus is what's gonna allow you to become known in your industry for the thing that you wanna be known for. And once you have that, once that association is set and people know exactly what to expect from you and to know what your expertise is, then once you have 1 million plus subs, 1 million plus followers, then you can start to expand and go broader. But in the beginning, you want to pick that one thing and stick with it until people can't think about that topic without thinking about you. So talking about content systems, I know some of you are thinking, this is making sense, but I'm tired of trying to figure out strategies on my own and I just want someone to handle this for me. If that's you, I'll leave a link in the description below where you can book a call with my team to see if we can take the weight of figuring out content off your back. Anyways, the second problem with optimizing your content for the wrong metrics is pretty much a consequence of the first problem. But it's a whole other issue in itself. So here's why. So the algorithm has fundamentally shifted. It used to be based on your follower count, whereas now it's based on interest. So let me explain what that means. Before, you would post something and the algorithm would push it out to a subset of your followers. That meant if you had a bigger following, you had a better chance of your post being pushed out to more and more people. So it basically pushed it out to 10 followers to test it, see what kind of signals it's getting. If they were good signals, it would push it out to more people and more people and more people and more people, eventually expanding your reach. Huge disadvantage if you didn't have a huge follower count. Now though, thanks to AI and all the cool things that we're able to do and all the tracking they have on us, it's all interest-based. So what that means is your content is gonna get served to people who are interested in those topics, regardless of your follower count. That's a huge advantage for smaller creators because you're no longer limited by your follower count. But if you're creating content just to chase views, you're training the algorithm to show your content to the wrong people. Those are gonna be people that are interested in topics that have nothing to do with the audience that you actually wanna build to grow your business. So a few years ago, we had a client come to us, and at the time, he had maybe 5 or 6 different videos, each get over 1 million views. He had maybe 60, 70,000 followers, but he was getting over 1 million views on these videos. At the time, he was selling a $2,000 affiliate marketing offer. He had a $2 ebook that would lead into this $2,000 thing. He had been selling this offer for at least probably close to a year. And despite all the success he was having on social media, he had 0 sales of his $2,000 offer. 0. Not even 1. And all he had actually at that point were a couple $2 ebook sales. So when we looked at his audience demographics, almost overnight, when his first video hit 1 million views, almost overnight his audience went from 80% US to over half being from India. Now obviously nothing wrong with India, but those aren't the people that are gonna be able to buy his $2,000 course. And when he tried to pivot to more niche content, the algorithm was confused and his engagement tanked. You can't grow followers with the wrong people and then pivot later. If you already have a personal brand, you can use this to your advantage with the new algorithm. So what you can do is go back and re-identify your core content pillars within your market. What are the topics that your perfect avatar is actually interested in? Now here's where you can go a little bit further outside of just the niche content. So for example, if you are a fitness coach, obviously they're gonna be interested in fitness topics like weightlifting, I don't know, strength and conditioning, running, whatever. You could take that even a little bit further out with things like discipline or mindset or habits. So you're still very much within the realm of the topics that your audience would appreciate, but you're able to take it a little bit further out from just the niche content topics themselves. Now, if you already have a personal brand that you're building, you can use this new algorithm update to your advantage, and here's how. So you wanna go back and re-identify your core content pillars and make sure they're in line with your niche. So here's how I think about it. Let's say, for example, you are a fitness coach. Right? So your niche topic, the thing that you're associating your name with, your brand with, is your methodology. Let's just say, I don't know if this is still cool, if this is still a thing people do, but let's just say it's keto, right? So your big thing is keto for fitness, right? And so your target market are people that are probably interested in fitness already. They probably have a foundation. They're interested in taking it to the next level with keto. A lot of times these are going to be high performers, right? In their jobs or in their businesses, most likely. And so if you think about it that way, right, and I'm just saying your audience could be different within the keto world, right? But that is my main niche topic. So anything under that, I can obviously talk about food, diets, intermittent fasting windows, whatever's related to that, right? But I can now come out on this second ring where it's kind of like just off center, but still things that my audience are definitely interested in, right? So for example, this might be things like mindset or discipline, Still don't know how to spell discipline. I think that's close enough, right? So these types of things. And what's great about this second ring is this is a great way for you to start to let your personality into your content. So without you feeling like you have to share your entire personal life on social media, you can now start taking it out a ring further. And mindset and discipline would probably easily branch over into your own life, your own habits, the way you handle your schedule, maybe the way you manage time with your family and your kids and working out in your business and whatever else you're doing, right? All these things that your audience would obviously appreciate, but now they get a little bit of insight really into you and to who you are, which is key for people feeling a connection to that personal brand side. You can even take it a step further now by going out to that third ring. And this is where I would start to think about your personal values and core beliefs, right? So maybe one of your core beliefs or core values or things that you enjoy is travel. Now you can see how this is still all very much in line. So again, if we said these are like kind of high performers, right? Then probably lifestyle design is gonna be a facet of that. Now let's say maybe they're not. Maybe they're newer to fitness. Maybe your audience isn't high performers, right? But they're trying to get their life on track. Well, they probably have a family and they're probably trying to juggle all of the time demands that come with family and working out, right? So maybe for you, family is a core value out here, right? So that could be the content pillar. Or maybe it's faith, right? I don't know. I don't know what it is for you, but you start to think about that and then work backwards. And you see how different this is and how intentional this is, because all of these topics, and by the way, this could just be a little more top of funnel, right? Where people who aren't necessarily interested in fitness yet or interested in keto yet, but they're interested in these things, which is a little more broad interest, right? Now they're finding you through those things and connecting with you there and then going deeper into the funnel, right? So this is how you can kind of create demand at all different levels of the funnel when you think about it from an interest-based situation and from the thing that you want to be associated with. You see how this is different than if I were just chasing views, right? Me chasing views would look like this. Oh, somebody is talking about this thing in the news, right? This political thing in the news that just happened, right? I want to weigh in on that, right? Or someone is talking about this thing over here, whatever, right? That's happening that has nothing to do with any of this stuff, but I'm chasing it because it's trending. And now people go, whoa, wait a minute. What is this guy about? I don't even know, right? But if you stay here and you branch out from the center, you're now being intentional while being able to reach those different levels of the funnel. So you can see how if you put your emphasis on vanity metrics like views and engagement, and you're tempted to chase those topics that will drive those views and engagement outside of the thing that your brand is supposed to be associated with, now you're diluting your brand and attracting the wrong audience. But the third problem isn't just about business metrics, it's about what this does to you as the founder, the most important member of your company. So when you post a video and you immediately start refreshing, right? You post it, you look, refresh, 100 views. Refresh, 500 views, refresh. You're in a meeting but thinking about your view count. You're supposed to be on a sales call but you're glued to your phone. You're getting addicted to the dopamine hit of seeing the numbers increase. Something that's supposed to grow your business has now become a complete distraction from your business. And all the meanwhile, it's reinforcing the wrong behaviors. When you're too focused on the scoreboard, you can't focus on the play in front of you to actually take the actions that are going to drive those numbers in the future. So if you're looking for business outcomes to grow your business with content and you keep refreshing and looking at the views, you're going to be tempted to follow those things that are generating views rather than the content you actually need to be creating long-term to build a powerful brand. And so in a year, you look back and you realize, sure, your follower count might have grown, but nobody knows who you are in your space or in your industry. No one is coming to you as the go-to, as the top of mind, and your content isn't actually driving results for you in your business. So here's what this looks like. You post an educational video about your framework. It gets maybe 2,000 views. You post a trending take, it gets 20,000 views. So you stop making the educational content even though that's what actually books sales calls. Meanwhile, your real buyers are watching. Someone might watch 30 of your videos over 6 months, never like or comment, then one day out of the blue, DM you ready to buy. And you had no idea they existed because they weren't showing up in your engagement metrics. Building a brand takes time. It takes 6, 12, 24 months or even more of consistent messaging. So if you're looking at views and getting discouraged at month 3, you'll never make it to month 12 when things actually start to compound for you. You'll keep starting over, chasing the next trend, and never build real authority. That's why the best thing you can do is focus on the action, post the content, and then get off the platform. Because without it, now you're diluting your brand, attracting the wrong audience, and destroying your energy. But even if you avoided all 3, there's still one more issue that directly impacts your bank account: your inability to create content that actually drives conversions. To create content that doesn't just bring leads in, but pushes them further into the funnel, quicker, warmer, and with higher intent to buy. And that's problem number 4, you create content that doesn't convert. There's a big difference between entertainment and conversion content. You can do both, but for example, a funny meme about entrepreneurship might get laughs and shares, but does it book sales calls? No. Compare that to a case study where you break down how you helped a client 3x their revenue. That's probably gonna get way fewer views, way fewer likes, way fewer shares, but the people who watch it are thinking, yeah, I need that result. One entertains, one converts. So in the Google 7-4-11 study, they found that before someone buys, they need 7 hours of exposure to your brand across 4 different locations with 11 different touch points. When you go viral with a trending concept, somebody sees it and they scroll on. They didn't get any of those 7 hours of trust building, and they're gonna easily forget about it. Strategic content works differently as each piece builds on the last, moving them closer to the buying decision. So after someone watches 5 hours of your content, whether it's teaching, entertainment, showing your methodology, showing case studies, social proof, demonstrating expertise, showing your values, stories, and your life, when they're ready to buy, you're not just an option. You're the only logical choice because you're the authority. And that's not because you have the most views, it's because you strategically built trust over time. You spent the most time with them. So now you understand the 4 problems, but understanding the problems isn't enough. You need to know what to do instead. So let me show you what changes when you stop chasing views and you start building real authority. So first, stop tracking views, likes, and followers only. Track sales conversations booked directly from content. Track what content people consume before they bought. Ask those questions when they're getting on the sales call with you. What brought them to the call? How long have they been following you? What content did they consume? Because that's what predicts revenue. You need data infrastructure in place to not only know what works and what doesn't, but to be able to handle the lead flow at scale. Because once you understand what I've covered in this video and make the right changes, you'll start to see more leads than you ever have before. 2, quality over quantity. So one question you need to ask yourself right now is, would you rather 1 million views on a video that doesn't target a pain point or provide a solution to anyone specific versus 1,000 views from ideal clients on a video that actually helps them out directly? Because the obvious answer here, if you're running a business, is 1,000 views from the right people. You're making content to produce cash. So start optimizing for that. It truly is that simple, and the freedom you'll get once you fully accept that is amazing. Now let me quickly explain to you what this looks like in real businesses, because seeing the before and after will make this click. We had a client teaching people how to flip broken phones. He was on the content hamster wheel chasing trends, so we had him start doing longer talking head videos addressing his audience's biggest problem. Within 7 days, he had his best day of sales ever and ROI'd on our program. Now, I'm not saying that these are 100% typical results or that you're gonna turn on the content switch and the next day wake up to leads and cash in the door. I'm not saying it's that easy, and it's not that easy to shift how you approach content, but especially when you've spent years consuming content advice from people with different goals to you. But what I am telling you is that if you apply this and you have other things in your business like a validated offer and the right acquisition strategy, this works every single time. Another client we had was starting to chase views, so we repositioned her with podcast-style content on relevant news, showcasing her expertise, and she got so many leads she had to pause taking new clients. From the goal of millions of views to just the right views. And again, it worked. Here's my truthful insight after helping hundreds of business owners make this shift. It's not gonna feel good at first, and that's exactly why most people quit before it works. So here's what to expect. Your content won't get as many views initially. You'll feel like you're losing compared to viral creators. The dopamine hits will be smaller, but that's okay, because the business results will be bigger. You're starting to focus on actions, not outcomes, and that's the entrepreneur who succeeds in the long run. This approach builds a brand moat. It makes everything else in your business easier. Your ads perform better, your sales calls close faster, you can charge premium prices. That's the power of real authority over just viral moments. If you're serious about making the shift and you want to see exactly how we can install our AI content system in your business, there'll be a link in the description below. You can book a call with my team and we'll show you how we can get all your content done in less than 4 hours per month once it's set up, while you're actually focusing on the metrics that drive revenue for your high ticket offer. We've done this for over 400 businesses and we know what works. So whether you work with us or not, take my advice. Start building real authority. Your future clients are out there right now looking for someone who can solve their specific problem. Make sure your content is speaking directly to them. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.